Hi everyone, welcome back to AG Twins, and welcome to my Spotify Wrapped inspired stats video for my American Girl doll collection for 2025. I have tracked several different things throughout the year, so stay tuned to see what's changed in my collection this year. The first thing to cover is the dolls that I have acquired in 2025. This year I got 4 dolls total. The first doll I got is Julie. I was holding out for Julie in her original classic meat outfit with all the pieces and hair in nice condition for a while, and was thrilled to be able to get my Julie doll in a lot with some other things. There were a couple of other dolls in that lot that were in really bad shape, but Julie was still salvageable. I actually almost burned off a chunk of her hair at the very front while I was trying to restore her because I tried using a flat iron that didn't have different temperature settings. It literally just had like an on or off switch and that was it, and caught a chunk higher up on her head that wasn't soaking wet and saw it start to stick to the flat iron and melt, but I managed to react quickly enough and pull it away before any real damage was done. But it was definitely a close call. But after washing and very carefully flat ironing her hair, it came out so shiny and smooth, and I'm super happy with it. The next doll I got was Addie, who I found at a garage sale this summer. I wanted an Addie so bad, but was specifically on the lookout for a Be Forever one because I like the eyebrows and hairstyle of that version. Mine was found at a garage sale with her partial accessories included for a good price, so I was excited to grab her. She actually had the original hairstyle still in, but it was messy, so I did carefully take it out and neaten it up a bit, which was a bit scary, but a good skill to learn. The next 2 dolls I got at the same time. They were Molly and Felicity. I really did want Molly at the time, but would have been happy to wait for Felicity, but I found these both from the same seller locally for a really good price, and Molly was brand new in box, and Felicity, while not new, was in very nice condition, so I was glad to be able to take the opportunity to add them both to my collection. The next category is dolls that I sold this year. I sold 5 dolls, 1 each of Molly, Ivy, Kit, Josefina, and Kirsten. And these were all sold from my collection for the same reason, which was that these were duplicate dolls that I already had, but ended up getting a second one from buying lots where I wanted other things in the lot but already had the doll. So I just kept the things I wanted and passed these doubles on to somebody else. So after those ins and outs, here's my updated doll collection for 2025. I got these graphs from a template made by Evelyn Rose AG where you can select the dolls you have and it uses that to make these graphs about your collection. I don't necessarily have any goals related to like the physical characteristics of my dolls based on these, but it's just interesting information to see, and I thought you might be curious as well. You can see that the majority of my collection is historical, and I've made a lot of progress in tracking down several historical characters. There's just a few left that I would like to find still, which I will talk about more later in the video. I also kept track of my most used outfits based on how many days they were displayed on a doll this year, and the number 1 most worn outfit in my collection was Julie's calico outfit. This was really high on my wish list for a long time, and I finally bit the bullet and got it this year in March, put it on a doll, and have had it on ever since. This is definitely a new favorite of mine, so I'm not shocked to see that this came in at number 1. The next most worn outfit of mine was Kirsten's On the Trail outfit. This was in last year's list too because I have a couple dolls that I don't change as often because they have some more high maintenance hair, and I don't necessarily want to be handling them all the time, and this outfit was on one of those dolls, so that's why it made this list. The next outfit was Julie's patchwork outfit, which I got in the same lot as my Julie doll. This outfit was actually the reason why I bought that whole lot because I wanted it really badly. It's just so adorable. I just love these darker color schemes that were in Julie's older collection so much and would love to see more things like this released for her. The next one is another Julie outfit, also from that same lot. I was really heavy on Julie outfits in my most used outfit list this year, I suppose. And this is just another one that is so cute from Julie's original collection. Not too bright, but still just adorable. I am still hunting for the headband and shoes to complete this outfit though. I was just using the top and skirt this year. And finally, my 5th most used outfit was Molly's sweater and skirt outfit. This was in my childhood collection and is still a favorite of mine, especially for the fall and winter months. It's just so classic and cute, and I look forward to using it every single year. As for my total outfit usage, I used 61% of my outfits that I have this year. This is almost exactly on par with my percent from last year, and my goal was to increase it, which I did not accomplish, unfortunately. But at least I stayed consistent, even though I did acquire more outfits over the course of this year. So I must have used a greater number of outfits than last year, but it worked out to be the same percentage of my collection. Broken down by category, I used 71% of my historical outfits. I'm not surprised that this is a higher number because the historical ones really are my favorite and most used pieces. I used 40% of my Girl of the Year outfits, 100% of my contemporary outfits, but note that I still only have 2, so this just means I used both of them, and 44.1% of my Truly Me outfits. That historical percent was just slightly less than last year. Contemporary was the same, and I managed to increase my usage for Girl of the Year and Truly Me categories. I think those can sometimes be harder for me to get use out of because some of them are quite specific, like dance or ice skating or gymnastics specific outfits that don't feel as usable to me as like everyday historical outfit might be. As far as purchases I made this year, the majority of the outfits and accessories I got were from Facebook Marketplace. I like using that as a place to find good deals, but it does often mean that I am buying what is cheap and not usually what is the next highest thing on my wish list necessarily. Although I do try not to buy things just because they are cheap, they are still things that I do like. That's kind of the same story for garage sales, so those two categories combined are nearly 3/4 of my purchasing done in that manner. And then the more intentional purchases make up the other quarter, directly from American Girl, eBay, or Mercari. I actually only had 2 purchases from AG all year up until recently when I had a store visit, and then the end of year sales where I made a few more purchases. As with my outfit use, my purchases were majority historical, but I did get a much larger portion of Truly Me items this year compared to last year. And I do think that is because it is just what I was finding for good deals locally, so it skewed a little more that way this year than last year. I would like to make sure I stay focused mostly on historical next year, but I cannot say that I would pass up a good deal on some more cute Truly Me outfits either. I also broke down my outfit and accessory purchases by character, excluding the Truly Me ones that don't belong to anybody in particular. This was just kind of for fun. I don't know what the takeaway is necessarily from this graph, except that it seems like I got the most Samantha things, which I think were mostly all from one lot where I found several things from her collection all at once. Now you can see I did plenty of buying over the last year, but I assure you I did do some selling and clearing out some of my collection as well, either moving on from some things that I decided I wasn't going to use and didn't need to hang on to, or passing some duplicates I ended up with onto a new home. This is another graph that's just kind of for fun and doesn't really have a big takeaway or goal associated with it, except that I suppose I can notice that I had the most success selling things on eBay. Facebook Marketplace was mostly used for selling the dolls I mentioned earlier for a good deal in TLC condition, so I wouldn't have to ship them. Next, I have a couple superlative type things for some standout outfits. The first one is the best deal of the year, which was Rebecca's summer outfit. Now, this one doesn't necessarily mean that it was actually the cheapest thing I got, because that wouldn't be true, but I more so chose this one to be the best deal because I got a good deal on it relative to the value that this set normally goes for. I think I say it quite frequently on this channel, but I really do love Rebecca, especially her pre-Be Forever collection, so this was a highly anticipated outfit that I was so happy to find for a good price. The most expensive outfit that I got was Julie's calico outfit. This one was at the top of my wish list for a long time, so I finally just paid about the going rate for it. Maybe a little on the low side because that was just the best deal that I could get after almost 2 years of looking for it consistently. But it was my most used outfit for the year, so I think that means it was worth it. And then my most surprising addition to my collection was Samantha's birthday outfit. This was surprising to me because it was not on my list of things I wanted to get at all. I got it in a lot with some other historical items and actually thought I was just going to sell it because I didn't think I'd ever use it. But that happened shortly after American Girl just re-released this outfit, so I was seeing people open and use it everywhere. So I just decided to try it on a doll first before selling it, and I ended up liking it more than I thought, so it stayed in my collection. but if I didn't come across it in that lot and see it in person, I doubt this one would have been added to my collection. My favorite new outfits that I purchased this year were Rebecca's summer outfit, Julie's calico outfit, Julie's patchwork outfit, and Addie's Be Forever school outfit. I already kind of touched on the first three earlier in this video, but the Addie outfit is a similar story. All of these were high on my wish list, so it was super exciting to be able to add these four in particular to my collection this year. Reviewing the goals that I set myself in my AG collection wrapped video from last year, one of the things I said I wanted to do was watch for more local deals and garage sales, since I felt that that seemed to be like the most cost-effective way to build my doll collection. And I think we can consider that one a success since the majority of my purchases were from local sources. My next goal was to buy fewer dolls since I felt myself getting overwhelmed with the amount of dolls that I had gotten too quickly last year. And last year I got 8 dolls, and this year I got only 4 dolls, so this one was a success as well. Claudie and Addie were the top dolls I wanted to add to my collection this year. I was able to get an Addie doll, but I have not yet gotten Claudie. I would have loved to be able to get her when I visited the American Girl store so I could pick one out myself, but she wasn't on sale, and since I'm not in a rush and I think she will be around for a while, I'm content to wait for a good sale or deal. My last goal was to get more higher priority wish list items. I didn't seek out to do this super intentionally. My collecting style was still very much that of a bargain hunter, buying things I could find for cheaper first before the more expensive. Harder to find things that I actually want more. So I would consider that kind of a fail in that regard. However, I was able to get 3 out of my top 4 wish list items, which is very good. So maybe I actually didn't do that bad and can give myself partial credit for this one. I think these are good goals to continue to keep in mind for the next year too, and I also broke down some more specific goals of things to add to my collection. The top dolls that I'm hunting for in 2026 are Claudie and Nenea. Those are my higher priority dolls, but then I also am more casually keeping an eye out for Carissa, Blair, Elizabeth, an old Sonali mold Melody, and Denelli if I can find them for a good deal. And then the top, I think this is 8 outfits on my wish list going into the next year are as follows, and I have pictures as well. They are Addie's plaid summer set, Kit's candy making outfit, Marie Grace's summer outfit, Cecile's summer outfit, Mary Ellen's 2-in-1 outfit, Melody's play outfit, Rebecca's Hanukkah outfit, and Molly's floral pajamas. We are getting into some more expensive, harder to find outfits with that list, which I don't usually put high on my wish list just because I know they aren't super realistic. But I do really want those summer outfits for Marie Grace and Cecile especially, and have wanted them for years. But I am managing my expectations for those ones and won't be surprised if these don't all happen. And that's all the stats and goals I have for my 2025 AG collection wrapped. Thanks so much for watching, and if you'd like to share, please let me know what some of the highlights of your year were for your doll collection, or what some of your collecting goals are for 2026.